Can we able to give a proper example, students? So first let us start with classification. So how the bacteria has been classified? On the basis of shape and on the basis of gram stain, we can say gram stain. Is there any other classification of bacteria apart from these two? Very good. So you are saying on the basis of respiration, very good. Mode of nutrition, very good. Mode of nutrition, then very good. Temperature, then
pH.
1 second. Hello, yes ma'am. Based on pH, you are playing. Yes ma'am. Ma'am, I did my lecture in class. Respected class. 620. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, very good. Based on temperature, can you classify the bacteria? How bacteria classified based on temperature?
Like some stay harsh temperature.
You mean properly. So, yes. Okay, some bacteria can able to withstand at high temperatures, harsh temperatures, as she said. Such bacteria are called as archaea. Archaea bacteria. Do we need to guess one? Right now, actually, I got 35 registration. Okay, very good. Based on temperature, archaea bacteria is there. Are we going to study about archaea bacteria? We are not going to study archaea bacteria, keep in mind. Okay? Archaea bacteria is not going to infect humans. Because we don't have extreme temperatures. They will survive in extreme temperature, doesn't mean they will infect us. So, remove this thing from your minds, okay? Just for classification purpose we kept it, but those won't cause any infections in the humans, okay? Then based on pH, tell me students. Very good. Very good. Based on pH, there are two types of bacteria. What are those? Acidophilic and alkalophilic. That means acidic and basic. Now can you give examples to me? Any one acidophilic bacteria? That means this bacteria will it loves acidic environment. Yeah. Any example? You already know everything by the way. Tell me now. Acidophilic bacteria example. Yes. Yes. Tell me students. Acidophilic bacteria example. Okay. Tell me one thing. Where is acid present in human body? Stomach. What bacteria present in stomach? My God. Alright. What bacteria present in stomach? Any one example? Very good. Okay, lactobacillus. Yes, anyone? E. coli. E. coli. Okay, E. coli is one best example of acidic bacteria. See, you need to know these things. You need to know by this time you should know all these classifications, right? Okay. Q means alkalophilic bacteria in the body. What bacteria is alkalophilic in nature? Yes. What bacteria is alkalophilic in nature? Any one example? That means alkaline. That means basic pH. In what part of our body the pH will be in basic nature? What part of our body is basic in nature or alkaline in nature? Yes? Yeah. Listen. The gallbladder, okay, and intestine, small intestine, pancreatic juice. If you remember the pH of gallbladder juice is called as, do you remember? Circus entericus. Circus entericus is the fluid present in the small intestine. There is a term for gallbladder juice. Bile. Bile. Right? So bile juice is in alkaline nature. Is there any bacteria? If any bacteria that can survive or that can infect gallbladder, that bacteria is surviving in alkaline environment. Very good. One thing will be Vibrio cholerae. Then there is one more example, Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas. These two are alkaline bacteria. That means they can survive in alkaline temperatures, alkaline pH. That means if you want to isolate these bacteria in a petri dish, what should be the, okay, you want to isolate Pseudomonas. Then what pH you will keep the petri dish? Petri dish medium. It should be alkaline condition. The pH should be more than 7. Okay, it should be around 8. Only at that pH you can able to isolate Pseudomonas. That's why we are studying classifications. When we got a situation where we are able to isolate Pseudomonas, then we will go with the alkaline medium. Anything that has an alkaline condition in the medium, we will take it for the growth of Pseudomonas. Okay, these are the things. Then based on respiration, how the bacteria are classified? Aerobic and anaerobic. Can you give examples of aerobic and anaerobic? Aerobic, this bacteria requires oxygen for their growth and hence they will cause infection to us. Any one example of aerobic bacteria? No, aerobic bacteria will be strepto. All basic bacteria are aerobic bacteria. Okay, strepto, staph can be an aerobic bacteria. Then anaerobic bacteria examples. Any idea? Mycobacterium tuberculosis is a strictly oxygenated. Okay, it is a complete BP is completely oxygenated. It's a Langsalias. Actinomyces. Actinomyces. Example bacteria name. There is one famous example. Clostridium. Okay, Clostridium is actinomyces actually. Okay, so Clostridium botulinum. Clostridium botulinum is an anaerobic bacteria. Listen, anaerobic bacteria botulinum. That means this bacteria can survive in the absence of oxygen. That means this bacteria can survive in redox reactions. Redox reactions means where the oxygen will be removed. Okay. One best redox reaction is conversion of iron to iron oxide. Rusting of nails. Iron will be rusted, right? So in the iron plate, a rusting iron plate, there is a chance that anaerobic bacteria such as Clostridium can survive in a rusting iron metal. That's why when you hit with, when you got injury with a rusted metal injury, there is a chance of growth of anaerobic bacteria such as Clostridium infection might come. That's why we will say, okay, you got rusted nail injury, then do antiseptics immediately. Now you are understanding, right, the logic behind these things, why we are classifying them. So rusted nail might have a Clostridium species, or anaerobic bacteria might present in this one. There are multiple examples, I forgot, but you should know that. Then Graf staining, Hans Christian Graf. He identified that bacteria will take either blue color or it will take pink color. Okay, based on this criteria, the bacteria classified into gram positive, color is blue, and gram negative, color is pink or magenta. Okay, thank you. So, yes, now give me examples of gram positive and negative. I will at least 5 examples. 5 gram positive, 5 gram negative. Tell me students. Gram positive you are saying? Yes. Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, then give me students. Enterococcus. Enterococcus, I need to recheck. Anyone? Clostridium. Clostridium is gram positive. Very good. So Clostridium, Corynebacterium, then Anthrax, Diphtheria are gram-positive bacteria. Then write down the gram-negative. Examples, give me gram-negative examples. Gram-negative examples. Give me gram-negative examples. Equal. Very good. Equalite. Enterobacterium. Okay. Enterobacterium. Salmonella. Very good. Salmonella. Then Vibrio cholera. Hemophilus bacteria, Hemophilus influenza. Okay, these are gram-positive and negative bacteria. Then, based on shape, how the bacteria are classified? Yes, tell me. Cocci, bacilli, then spiral, then Vibrios, then Actinomyces, then Mycoplasma. Okay. Now see. Now based on cocci, there are two types. What are those two types? The cocci means round shape, right? If this round shape is like in a chains, then this is called a strepto. If they are like a bunch of balls, like a grapes, then this is Staphylococcus. Can you give me examples of strepto and staphylococcus? Examples. Strepto example. Yeah. Very good. Streptococcus pyogenes, Staphylococcus aureus. Famous examples. Okay. Very good. Based on bacilli, how the bacteria are divided? There are two types of bacilli, I guess. Yes. Please, even in bacilli we have two types. Bacilli like this. This is called as Streptobacilli. A chains of rods is called as Streptobacilli. And I don't know whether we have Streptobacilli. I don't think so. We don't have Streptobacilli, but we have Streptobacilli and just bacillus. Okay. Can you give examples of Streptobacilli and Streptobacillus? I don't know. You would need to guess. Yes. What is the example of bacilli? E. coli. Then Streptobacilli example. I don't know. You can Google it and tell me the answer if you can. Streptobacilli. Okay, Google. What is the example for Streptobacilli? Example for Streptobacilli. So, yeah, Leptospira species. Right on, Leptospira species. Leptospira species are Streptobacilli. Very good. There are spirochetes. Can you give examples of spirochetes? Spirochetes means spiral, like spring-like or bacteria. What bacteria is like spring-like? Spirochetes. Example, bacteria example. Listen, I know this example, I can tell you. Listen, spirochetes are very powerful and penetrating. Very powerful and penetrating. I don't know how to tell you. Listen, spirochetes can easily penetrate through your keratinized tissue. That means even from your palm they can penetrate into your skin. Just you keep one spirochete, it will drill hole into the skin and it will enter inside. That much dangerous spirochetes are. Okay, spirochetes are very dangerous and they can easily penetrate. Okay, and you just imagine now, what if this spirochete that can drill hole into a keratin tissue is present at the very delicate tissue like mucous membranes? They will do like hell. They can destroy the tissue like hell. If a spirochete there in the mucosal areas. Okay, and there is a deadly combination of these characteristics. This spirochete will transmit through genital regions. Okay, this spirochete will cause mucogenital warts, they will say, mucogenital abscess, and this is a sexually transmitted disease. And can you give an example of it? It's a sexually transmitted bacterial disease. What bacterial infection will be transmitted through sexual intercourse? Any example? Syphilis, Trypanosoma pallidum. Trypanosoma pallidum, that is syphilis, is a bacteria, it's not a parasite. Trypanosoma pallidum is a bacteria that is a spiral in nature that will cause a severe sexually transmitted disease. Okay, very good. Then examples of Vibrio. Vibrio cholera. What it will cause? Diarrhea in the patient. Very good. Then what is the example of actinomycetes? What is the meaning of actinomycetes? Branched filaments. Branched filaments. Now, what is the example of branched filaments? Example, branched filamentous bacteria. Example for actinomycetes. Any idea? Give me an example of actinomycetes. Okay, good. Example for actinomycetes. Yes? Corynebacterium or only bacterium species. Then tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is actinomycetes. It's a branched bacilli. Okay, tuberculosis. Very good. So these are the various types of bacteria. And I was very unfortunate to see that the students who are in masters of microbiology are unable to recall the bacteria names. Very painful. See, listen students, in masters, the only thing is you should know the classification, that's it. If you know the classification, you know everything about bacteriology. For example, if I ask what is one species, maybe Pneumococcus, you should tell me the entire characteristics of Pneumococcus. Is Pneumococcus a gram-positive or negative? What shape is it? Is it a cocci, bacilli, rod, spiral? So where it can able to, is it a anom or amno? Is it a thermophile or eosinophilic or alveolophilic? If you know the properties of each and every bacteria, that is all about bacteriology. I don't know how to motivate you. Since I am not taking this theory subject, I don't know what it matters. Maybe I will tell you students, listen. The right way of approaching bacteriology will be like this. First of all, you should know each bacterial properties. Okay, properties of all of this. Then you should know the bacterial culture, how you can able to isolate the bacteria. This thing you must know at prior things. Okay, cultures including biochemical tests, biochemical tests of the bacteria, microscopy of the, then what are the biochemical testing of bacteria? What are those? Immune tests, right? What are the immune tests? Very good, very good. Yes, tell me students, indole test, then Walker's crossover test, then a citric acid test, then there is one for what is this then? And I stands for iron test, iron fermentation test, citric acid test, iron, and this stands for something. You should be able to tell for each bacteria what will be the results in week, how you will isolate the bacteria in various culture medias, what are the basic properties of the bacteria, what is the microscopic examination of the bacteria. Even if you don't know clinical symptoms, no one will ask. As a medical technologist, no one will ask how you will treat a patient, what are the signs and symptoms of patient. They won't ask you. We will especially consider whether you know this knowledge or not. Whether you know what is its bacterial properties, can you able to isolate it, can you able to culture it, can you able to do tests of it, can you able to identify the bacteria on the microscope. If you don't have these skills, then it is useless to study masters in MLT. BSc is DMLT is sufficient. Diploma in MLT is sufficient for lab tests. But unfortunately, you came up to the level of masters, and you see your faces. You should study a lot, students.